So let's talk discontinued bags that I am on the hunt for. Hello, and the warmest of welcomes to today's video. For those of you who haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Nick, fab to have you here. For those of you who have seen my face before, thank you so much for joining me again. I hope you're enjoying my videos. I put out videos roughly 3 times a week on a range of different topics, anywhere from fashion to some slightly more personal topics. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then please do head down, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. I love chatting with you all. I'm all about living life loud, and what that means to me is being your authentic self, being proud to be you, and just celebrating who you are. Celebrating yourself and celebrating others. So, what are we going to talk about today? Today, we're going to discuss discontinued luxury bags that I currently have my eye on. As you all know, I'm an absolute lover of pre-loved. I think it is a great way to shop. I think it's sustainable. I think it's a way of buying things that maybe you missed the first time around. I think it's a way of being able to buy items at a price point that you might not have been able to get them for previously. That isn't always true, but it rings true for a number of different products and brands. And it tends to ring true most where the product is discontinued, unless it became a uber popular special edition. So I'm thinking, for example, Louis Vuitton by Supreme or Louis Vuitton and Steven Sprouse, then they tend to be really difficult to get hold of, or they tend to be very expensive. Hello Keeple was another example. Those were uber expensive at the time. They're even more expensive now. I think it was called the Prism. But that doesn't tend to be the case for the majority, particularly for certain designers. Now, I have 6 bags on this list, and they are bags that retail I could never have afforded. Also, to get the equivalent within the current range of this particular brand, again, I don't have the budget for it. However, I have no problem with wearing something that's older, discontinued, because I don't know about trend very much. I only know about what is my personal preference. I feel like I can style older items more easily because it doesn't worry me that it's older. It doesn't worry me that it's not on trend. Whereas I can appreciate why, as I said in my previous video, why if you are very much into the latest fashion and you want the latest and greatest, then you might struggle to style something from 2014. But I don't have that issue. So, these are items from brands that I could not enter from a retail perspective. Yeah, I would say from a retail perspective at the moment. However, could I from a pre-loved perspective, because they've been discontinued and they're pre-loved? Yeah, I could. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I just wanted to share those 6 items with you. Do I think I think I will pick all of them up this year, next year? No, I do not. Do I think I might be able to get 1 or 2 in the next year or so? Yeah, I think I will. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that, but I'm also going to balance that with everything else that I have going on in my life. So it's a bit of a balancing act as we all follow, as we all juggle things. So this is just something that I'm thinking about. The first item is a discontinued item that I think frequently features on bags that they should bring back. And this is the Chanel GST. I love the simplicity of this. It's beautiful. It looks to be fairly structured, but it does lose its shape a little bit over time. It's leather, so you can expect that. But I don't think that's anything that a bag organiser or something to give it a little bit of structure wouldn't sort. It's a great size. You can just throw it over your shoulder. You could also carry it by hand. It's versatile. They did it in a range of different colours. I would probably go for this in black. However, I do think the white is absolutely beautiful. I also love the beige, but I just feel that black would probably be the best option for me with this particular bag, and I think it's absolutely stunning. I like it very much. Next up, and it's another one from Chanel, and the price point of this, and it's so my style because you know I love a big bag, and this is the Chanel Executive. Beautiful top handle, large top handle. I would say a current bag that you can buy from another brand that's very similar to this would be the Asparal of London Tote. I think they have a very similar aesthetic, but the Chanel is just beautiful. I mean, and do you pay a bit more? Am I being a bit more sucked into this because it has the Chanel logo on it? Yeah, I am, and I'm okay to admit that. I think that does add value to it. So I think this is really beautiful. Again, I would buy this in black. I just love the simplicity of it. The little CCs on the front, very, very beautiful, very timeless, very elegant. This could be used in so many different ways. I would probably use this as a work bag, or if I needed a larger formal bag. It would just be a really great item that I think I would absolutely opt for. I think it's absolutely beautiful. That we have an absolute favourite, and I'm just waiting for the right one to hit the pre-loved market. But I have been looking for one of these again for quite a long time. I've seen a few. This is the Celine Trapeze. I love the Celine Trapeze. The closure's a bit fussy. That's the one thing that has bothered me about it. But I think it's absolutely beautiful. A trapeze or a phantom, I would be very, very happy with. So I just think it's beautiful. I love the tri-colour that you can get the trapeze in. I love the wings on the side of it that, although they don't add a huge amount of practicality to it, they add some drama to it. They add some size to the bag, so it would probably not be as big as it looks, but it's beautiful. It can get heavy, and I know that the Phantom can get very heavy, particularly if you have it in the full leather versions, but it's absolutely stunning. I love big bags. I'm comfortable carrying a heavy top handle. The great thing with the trapeze, I think, over the Phantom, is that the trapeze does come with a shoulder strap. That doesn't bother me so much, but I know for other people that will be quite a big deciding factor, and the trapeze does tend to be less expensive than the Phantom. I have a feeling that if there was a kind of a structure, that the trapeze sat slightly below where the Phantom sat. So I love them both. I would be happy with either in a bright, bright colour, but I just really love the kind of almost winged design to it. People say that they have a bit of a face. Celine bags have a face. I agree. I think that they do. But these are great and really good fun. And they're quite understated. They're quite subtle as luxury bags go. Celine, on the whole, I think is quite understated unless you get it in the Triomphe print. But of course, this wasn't around when the Triomphe print was, now that the Triomphe prints in these bags weren't around. So you wouldn't be able to get one of those, but you could get one in a really bright, beautiful colour, and the branding is quite understated. So these are great, and they're a really good price point. I haven't mentioned the price point of the other two. The Chanel, the GST, I think you can probably get for about £1,500. The same for an executive, in kind of good condition, maybe £1,500 to £2,000. The trapeze tends to float anywhere from around high 500s to £800, and then the Phantom tends to sit somewhere around 800 up to about 1400, dependent on the condition, the material, the colour, etc. So that's where those tend to be. But I think they're absolutely beautiful and great price points. Ways to enter these brands from a pre-loved perspective for what I deem to be a relatively reasonable price in the grand scheme of where the price points sit today. Next up, we have a flat bag. I'm a fan of the flat bag style, as you know, and this one's just a little bit edgier, it's a little bit fun, and this is the Dior Diorama. You can still buy these. You don't have to buy these pre-loved. You can still buy these outlet. And when I was last at the Dior outlet, they had this beautiful magenta diorama. It was stunning, but it was still in the high, like, thousands. I think it was like 1900, something like that. So it was still pretty pricey. But you can also buy these pre-loved, and they tend to float somewhere around £1,000, £1,200, something along those lines, which isn't terrible. Flat bags are just practical. This one, dependent on the material you get it in or the colour that you opt for, can go from day to night, but to be honest, I think anything you can wear in the day, given the right outfit, you can wear at night as well. So it's a bag that can easily transition. They can be worn on the shoulder, they can be worn by hand, they can be worn crossbody. Sometimes with flat bags, what I tend to do is wear it across and then pull the other strap up over this shoulder here. So then it's much more tucked under my arm, and then that makes it a little bit tighter to the body. I just find it a bit more comfortable rather than it kind of banging against my hip. As you know, I don't do crossbody. So I love the way that they've almost given it a 3D effect on the material. I just think it's fantastic. A really great item. Shame that they discontinued it. I think it was a nice piece from Dior. Now let's hop across to Louis Vuitton. And This is a piece that is a style I've been considering for a while, and I also really love this particular discontinued print. And I am talking about the Alma GM in the multicolour, the Murakami multicolour. Black or white, I think both of them were beautiful. These were just a piece of Louis Vuitton history, really, weren't they? You can pick one up. I found one on Fashion File for about $1,700. In okay condition. It had a fair few scuffs and scrapes to the vachetta, but on the whole, it was looking okay. This piece comes from a time where consumers talk about Louis Vuitton's quality being a little bit better. It was a design statement, wasn't it? And it's bold, and it's fun, and it's bright, and it's colourful, and it's just enjoyable. This is the type of bag that you just smile when you look at it. It's the type of print that you smile when you look at it. And I think Louis Vuitton do that very well with a number of their limited runs. They can just make you smile when you look at them. And this, again, is an item that I've seen people say that they struggle to style. But actually, just throw it in there. Just make it a bit of a clash. Or if you're someone who does prefer to wear a more muted wardrobe, pick out one of the colours from the multicolour and use that as a bit of a correlation between your outfits. So I think there's really nice ways of doing it. I know that Caleb from Caleb Snell's channel, do go and check him out. He recently hit 1,000 subscribers. Congrats, Caleb. He has a couple of the pieces from this particular collection, and they're fabulous. They're absolutely beautiful. Like I said, the black multicolour, the white multicolour, I would not be fussed which one. I think they're both fantastic, but this is just a piece of Louis Vuitton history, a piece of fashion history. They do hold their price pretty well, so you do have to pay a decent amount. You're not having to pay over retail, what it was at retail, but you are still having to pay a sizable amount of money for this particular collection still, considering its age. But, like I said, it's a piece of fashion history, so why not go for it? Now, I do have two more. I said I was only going to do 6, but I thought of one when I was mid-flow, which I think has been discontinued, but please do correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, and my original number 6 is the Prada Kapana bag. I think that they do this now in a updated style, but I think the Kapana itself has been discontinued, or it might be one of Prada's a million name changes that they do. Really confusing when you're trying to find bags from Prada, because they change the name so much. But I really love this. I love the fact that it's material. They brought it out in so many bright colours and fun prints. I saw a beautiful one of these at the Bicester Village outlet probably about a year ago. No, it must have been shorter than that, maybe 6 months ago or so. And it was in this beautiful tropical print. It was just so much fun. You can buy them in a range of sizes. I have nearly bought one of these about 3 times, and I regret not buying it. I absolutely regret it. There was a beautiful purple one, a Luxury Promise, that was in the GM size, and I kept hovering over it, going away, hovering over it, going away, didn't go for it. Then a pink one appeared, a similar colour, but in the larger size, to the one that I'm showing on the screen. Again, hovered over it, didn't do it, hovered over it, didn't do it, moved on. Then there was one that was in blue, did the same thing. Why don't I just buy these things? Why? Because then I end up sitting here saying, ones that I'm hunting, well, they were in front of me. Why didn't I just get them whilst they were there? Ugh, Nick, why'd you do it? Anyway, no use crying over spilled milk, as they say. But this is a great item. I love the fact that it's top handle. I think some of them do come with shoulder straps. I'm not 100% on that, but capacity-wise, it's great. You can get them in a range of different sizes. They do a small, they do a medium. There was a GM as well. It was the GM that I was particularly gravitating towards, but the other sizes are really cute. Love the fact that they're fabric. I'm a huge fan of fabric bags. And the great thing with Prada is that they have, some cases, a smaller triangle logo, as we've seen on, for example, the Prada Nylon, or the double bag, or the Luxe Saffiano from back in the day. But they do some bags with slightly larger logos like this, and all you have to do is flip the bag round. It's plain on the back, and you wouldn't necessarily know it was a designer bag. And I'm not someone who flips the bag around, because if I've bought it, I want you to know I've bought it. However, some people do like that, so it's a good versatile option. And my final one, because I said I was doing 6 and I've done 7, please do let me know if this one isn't discontinued, but I have a feeling it is. This is the Hermes Garden Party. maybe it's just not on their website anymore, but I've looked for it a couple of times and I've only ever been redirected to kind of resellers or consignment stores when I'm online. Redirected when I'm online, and I've typed in Hermes garden party. But this is a beautiful, beautiful bag. They used to do this in a really large size, like a 49 centimetre. That would be great. Alternatively, one of the 36s would be perfect in a really beautiful pop of colour. I wouldn't be opposed to a garden party in a mixture of leather and fabric or a full fabric. It is absolutely stunning. Now, I do think that my Longchamp Rousseau is a great alternative at a much more reasonable price point. However, there is just something in me that's always loved the garden party, so I do think that I will try and buy one at some point, because although I have the Rousseau, which I think I will buy another one of as well, I don't think that will scratch the itch of the garden party. Therefore, I think I will just have to make my peace with the fact that at some point I might have multiple Rousseaus plus a garden party, all of which look similar, but at least I will know. For me, I've always loved the garden party. I've always wanted one. I've wanted one since I first saw it many, many years ago. So I just think at some point I will need to scratch that itch. So I will try and find one. You tend to find them at quite reasonable price points as well on the pre-loved market. So definitely one to consider if you're into beautiful top handles like I am, or larger top handles. But it is definitely one that's on my list. And it's a way of entering the Hermes brand without having to spend huge sums of money. I have no desire to be a regular Hermes customer. My budgets just don't allow it, and I think there are other brands that suit me more. And that's absolutely fine. That is what fashion is all about, suiting your own personal taste. But the garden party is a bit of me, therefore I think I absolutely need one in my life. There we have it, everyone. That is my list. Let me know what you're thinking. Are there any discontinued bags that you've been thinking about for a while? Are there any discontinued bags that you've recently bought? Is there anything you wish they would just bring back into their main collection again? I would love to hear from you. But in the meantime, look forward to seeing my next video. Take care, everyone. Mwah.